Well, off the back of nearly getting a move to Sweden at the end of last week, we are now right in the fight for an automatic promotion spot here in League 2, just 1 point off Crawley Town, who we take on second up in today's episode. Before then, though, we've got Bristol Rovers. Hopefully, can keep pace with those teams in that automatic promotion spot. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 33 of Rookie to Royalty here on Shaun Does FM with Buxton FC. I hope you're doing well. And come up today, we've got Bristol Rovers away and Crawley Town, two teams well and truly in the fight for at least the playoffs, and Crawley Town currently sit in the final of the automatic promotion spots, and we're only 1 point off them off the back of some pretty good form since the end of last week. If you missed the episode where we took on both Crew Alexandra as well as Salford C, two big wins there against teams at that stage, first and second on the table. I'll leave a link to that one over in the top right corner. Our form for the most part has been pretty good, but first up, we travelled away to the team who are supposed to be the best in this division this season, in Peterborough United, and we kind of got spanked there 3-1. We did get beaten there by Peterborough United, goals there to Mick Kennan as well as either side of halftime to Ricky Jade Jones. Grabbed one back late there through Jaden Sweeney, but unfortunately got fairly well pumped there by Peterborough away from home. So unfortunately, a bit of a poor start off the back of that big win over Crew Alexandra. But since then, we've done pretty well. 2-1 there against Accrington Stanley off the back of conceding an early goal, which did put us 1-0 down. Sayan Ghana in there with the goals. Then a 2-2 draw against Cheltenham Town, to be fair. Bit of a bottle job this one off the back of having a 2-0 lead just before halftime, but still a point away from home, never too bad. And then a massive 3 points here as we took on Walsall, coming back to pick up a 2-1 win, despite a red card to Dennis DeWuna inside of a minute. So got off here to an absolutely dreadful start in this game. It looked like it would not go our way when Piers Julif gave them the lead there just before halftime, and also G. Garner penalty saved early in the second half, but thankfully still found a way here to pick up 3 points. Jim got us level there at the 68-minute mark, and then Harry Leeson, deep in injury time, grabbed a winner from a set piece of that. An absolutely massive 3 points for us there, with only 10 men for pretty much the entirety of those 95 or so minutes. That's a big result considering that Walsall are not a bad team at all here in terms of League 2. They sit in 7th, and to be fair, their form hasn't been that good since we beat them with the 10 men off the back of that win. A bit frustratingly then, we went back home to take on Bromley and dropped points there in a 0-0 draw. So that kind of ended our good work there from that win with 10 men away at Walsall. But thankfully since then, a 1-0 win over Scunthorpe United. Again though, we left it late through Alice Lahane, and much better when we took on Tranmere Rovers away from home, pumping those guys 5-2. So for the most part, our form's been good, apart from Peterborough United and maybe Bromley. Those are the two that do sting just a little bit. In particular, that Bromley one sting as it was at home, but it does mean we are firmly inside of a playoff promotion spot now here in League 2. We sit in 5th and we're 6 points clear of Bristol Rovers, who we're about to take on first up in today's episode. Only 1 point off Crawley Town in that final automatic promotion spot, and it's very tight there with Crew Alexandra also just 1 point above us there, and 4th spot in Fleetwood Town are just below us, 1 point behind. So very tight there for that final promotion spot. Also Peterborough United are certainly not out of reach, only 3 points clear. Salford City are probably going to run away with the league and also go up automatically, but a big fight on in behind that. So hopefully can pick up some more good ones here in today's episode and maybe sneak our way into that 3rd spot above Crawley Town. But before then, we've got Bristol Rovers, who are just on the verge of making their way into those playoffs, albeit not too sure if we should be too worried. They've got Nathan Jones in charge, so we should be okay considering that. But these guys were predicted to finish 3rd. They have just found their form in their last couple of games off the back of a heavy defeat to Leyton Orient. They've just got the job done there away against Mansfield, and then picked up a 3-1 win against the Stevenage team, who, while struggling, we did lose to the last time that we did take them on. So this one away from home, it could be just a little bit tricky, especially because going to this one, we do have a few injuries to quite a few first team players. Chris Zay is still out with a groin strain for a further 8 days to 2 weeks, so it does mean a little bit light currently there at left wing. And to add to that, Sebastian Williams and Alfie Pinion are both out with pulled hamstrings, which pretty much happened around the same time because they're due to be back in 5 to 12 days. So unfortunately, that's 3 first-team players that we are missing. To be fair, Alfie Pinion of late hasn't actually been first choice because he can't jump, and that's been an issue with all the headed goals we've been conceding here with this Buxton team. But couple that up with the fact that we've got a lot of tired players off the back of the last little stretch that I've played off camera does mean that we're going here we're pretty close to a full rotation for this first game in today's episode away from home. Let's hope this doesn't backfire, but honestly, don't have much choice if we don't want too many injuries from this game. The only regulars who are in here are Charlie Casper in goal, Dennis DeWoon, his first game back from the suspension off the back of that red card he got in that win we did pick up over Walsall. And also Jed Garner comes in, usually first choice, but of course Alistair Hane has been quite good recently and throughout most of the season, but is currently sitting on a heavy workload. So I think we'll give him a rest here while we've got the chance. So really, it's just DeWooner and Casper, who usually would be featuring in our first team and currently as well. Caden Kelly with that injury to Sebastian Williams, Ollie Shield in there for Lewis Jones, also on a heavy workload. So a very heavy rotation we've got here going in the first game we'll play in today's episode. Fingers crossed it doesn't backfire and undo that good position that we've put ourselves in, where potentially we could overtake Crawley in that second game of today's episode. But big rotation for this game. We'll see how it works out. Ollie Shield himself is just coming back from recent injury at left wing. So to be fair, we probably need to take him off at some stage during the second half. So that's already a sub that we do need to plan to make. This could be an interesting one, but if we can find a way to even pick up 1 point from this game, I'll be pretty happy with all the rotation we're doing here at the Memorial Stadium. There are Bristol Rovers going with a 4-2-3-1 against our traditional 4-3-3 Buxton base, which has been working ever since we switched to it early in our first season in the National League, where we somehow won the title and got promoted. To be fair, it's working quite similarly here in League 2. We were expected to go straight back down rock bottom here in this division. Thankfully, that's not been the case, and really now should be in a position where we have a spot in the playoffs. It just depends if we can maybe do better and get up inside of one of those automatic promotion ones, depending if we can keep pace with Crawley in this game, because then a chance we could go above them when we take them on back at the Tarmac Silverlands. Unfortunately, first highlight there, we get a shot off. It's not a very good one though, and Leeson will win that ball for us there, playing right back today, seeing as Alfie Pinion is out with injury. He can do a job there while Abdul Salem is sitting on a heavy workload. So a little bit of change there to our options at right back currently here with this Buxton team with that Pinion injury. But to be fair, Leeson can cover centre back, should be quite good in the air. But Ollie Shield here cuts inside DeWooner. Interesting option out there to Jake Leake, pulls that one across there nicely for Jed Garner, but unfortunately, big save there from the Bristol goalkeeper to keep it at 0-0. But it looks like early stages here, we are on the front foot. Unfortunately, can't find Curtis there at the near post, and that highlight comes to an end. But early days here, we are looking quite good here in what could be a tricky away game with all this rotation that we are doing. The fixtures are now for a little while coming quite quickly back to back, midweek as well. So it's quite thankful actually we're not taking part these days in the FA Cup or the FA Trophy, as good as it would have been to continue in that competition. Blimmin Chesterfield, they did us of course in both competitions this season, but it's probably good that we're not in them for our promotion hopes. We just encouraged you at the right time to cancel out what looked like would have been a Bristol Rovers corner. Now we've got the ball here. Thankfully, DeWooner does pick up that slightly loose pass there from someone down our right-hand side. Jake Leake here does go to work down that left-hand side, floats this one far post there for Colville. Unfortunately, tries to loop that one over Manson and goal instead of looking for that top right corner. It's still 0-0, but to be fair, we're looking quite good so far in this game. Well and truly on the front foot. So we'll encourage our guys here going into the second half. It looks like we're the team who are on the front foot, won't make any changes at all. In fact, going into the second half, because so far we're doing pretty well. Let's just see when we need to take off some players like Ollie Shield here, maybe around the hour mark. He was only recommended for 45 minutes, but off the back of that break at halftime, you'd like to think he'll survive a bit longer in this game. But that's a poor pass there from someone in our midfield. For the first time that we see in this game, it is Bristol Rovers here who do get on the attack. Brooking plays that one for there to White, who will float this one far post. Now, unfortunately, Leeson or Williams. It's Leeson with a push in the back. They've done nothing all game, but they'll get the chance here from the penalty spot through Hutchinson, who sends Casper the Ghost the wrong way and puts it away in that left-hand corner for only his third goal of the season. Off the back of that, let's take off some players here who are struggling. Caden Kelly on a 6.4. Charlie Pavey can come on for him. Ashton Muir for Ollie Shield with that minute restriction. And G Gunner as well, not doing that well today. Let's bring on Zach Henry off of the bench. But that is a bit of a harsh blow. It's felt like so far we've been pretty good in this game, but Leeson gives away a penalty, as he can sometimes do. We've been very dominant. Obviously, the XG now gets bumped up quite a bit by that penalty that they did just put away, but we've gone 1-0 down in a game that really we have been dominating. So this would feel pretty harsh if we don't get anything from it. We pick up here a couple of yellow cards late on as we make our way towards the final 15 or so minutes. It might be time for us here to take off Leeson as well as Deluna on red hearts. Abdul Salam, he can come on right back as well as Mohammed there in midfield. And we'll also here go for a bit more of an attacking 4-3-3. We won't quite go crazy, only being 1 goal down. You'd like to think, considering how well we've been playing in this game, that we might not even need to make those changes. We'll just see if going a bit more attacking might pay off late here in this one. We'll actually go full out attack here as we're about to make our way into injury time, because unfortunately we're still 1-0 down thanks to that penalty that Leeson did give away. So in fact, here we'll go with the attacking 4-1-4-1-C. If it might work like it did at stages late last season in the National League, and sometimes it's also worked when we've needed late goals here this season up in League 2. There's late corner in our favour. Jake League will find Curtis, and it comes off the woodwork, just not quite there on the right side of the post. That was the big chance we had late in that game, but really a costly penalty we give away there through Harry Leeson. Apart from that, honestly, we were all over them in that game, despite the fact there weren't that many highlights. But it's a bit of a dagger blow. A 1-0 loss away from home would have been really useful to pick up a win there and try and keep pace with Crawley Town. We'll see if that is the case or not when we make our way forward here to the league table. Otherwise, we're going to need a win, try and keep pace with those guys and keep only 1 point behind them. But of course, there were teams just in between them and us who could make the most of things, like Crew Alexandria. Indeed, that's what they do. Crawley Town also pick up a win. Of course, Bristol do now close the gap on us. It's only 3 points back to a team who do sit outside the playoffs. So that result, not very good for us, does feel a little bit harsh. Fingers crossed, though, we bounce back at home when we take on Crawley. And we're back a few days off the back of that loss, unfortunately, to Bristol Rovers. As I said, pretty good effort there actually away from home. We were quite dominant, but unfortunately, that penalty given away there by Leeson, who does start this game as well, because unfortunately, Abdul Salam is still on a heavy workload. That did prove costly, but today, a much stronger team we're putting out for this game. Leeson's still there at right back. As well as that, though, we've got Lewis Jones in there at left wing. That's obviously with that injury to Crusade. As well as that, a couple other changes. Caden Kelly still in there at advanced playmaker. With the injury, we've got there, of course, to Sebastian Williams. Apart from that, though, it's a pretty strong team we are putting out for this game. So I'm expecting us here to be a bit better than we were against Bristol. But to be fair, not sure if we need to be that much better back at home. But Crawley Town have beaten us a couple of times so far this season in both the Carabao Cup and League 2, quite badly away from home. So hopefully a chance for us here to gain revenge in this second game of today's episode and try and make sure we keep pace with them inside one of those automatic promotion spots. In fact, one other change that we did make for this one, Zach Henry at right wing, our only right wing option, not on a heavy workload. I say right wing option. He is a striker, but can do a job there. So we'll see what he does there in this game a little bit there of a risk. But early stages, much like was the case against Bristol, we are looking quite dominant. Fingers crossed this time can put the ball in the back of the old onion bag and actually get a result from this game. Try and keep pace with the team who do just sit in that third spot. Get back down to 1 point before our fixtures do get a little bit easier for the majority of the run home. An early chance there through a frame. We try and pick out Lewis Jones at the far post. We in fact do, but his header not quite on the mark, but it's taken a wee while here for the first highlight of this game. And off the back of that, it's Crawley Town here, who do get on the ball, but thanks to that pass there, does get cut out very nicely from Jaden Sweeney, back from a couple of long-term injuries, which have kept him out for a decent chunk of this season. Our club captain, now Henry, does lose the ball there, but thankfully Leeson gets that ball back from that tackle, and Lewis Jones this time will hit the target. Would you believe it? We've scored a goal from a header, so thankfully a bit of payback here on Crawley Town, who I'm pretty sure did us on headers the last time we took them on. To be fair, there's a few teams you can make that case with here in League 2, but Lewis Jones this time will put that one on target and put it past Glasic. I think the last time we took these guys on, he was partially injured, but we still got spanked, so that was a bit disappointing. But this time, well and truly, the team on the front foot. And yet again, everyone out there is doing a really good job going into half-time. So very happy with how that first half went, albeit it would be quite nice to get a cushion goal and make sure that this time we pick up all 3 points, because so far both games today we have looked very good, just like the first one. We won't change anything, seeing as we are playing so well. Let's hope that this time, though, can actually put these guys to bed, unlike was the case in that Bristol Rovers game. Fingers crossed here, our home support at the Tarmac Silverlands might get us over the line. But about to make our way up here to the hour mark, Ellis Lahane does pick up a yellow card, albeit as I'm about to make a sub. A highlight starts here. We'll see if we take him off there. You can see the match momentum. Complete one-way traffic in this game. Fingers crossed we get paid for it here, as Lahane is on the attack. Should pull it across, but takes on the shot and picks up his 18th goal of the season. That is a big one for us to give us a cushion lead. We'll actually take him off here for Jed Gunner, a bit harsh, but that yellow card, let's not do anything silly. Don't have to try and win a game with 10 men like I did against Walsall, which somehow came off. Not too sure what was happening there. To be fair, didn't actually need to change too much in that game. We just battered them, despite the fact that we were down to 10 men. But great work there from Lahane down our left-hand side. Some good counter-attacking play as we take a 2-0 lead in this one, going a lot better than Bristol Rovers. Thankfully today, not giving these guys a way back into the game so far, and we've actually scored some goals with all the dominance that we have had. About to make our way to the final 20 minutes of this one. Just checking out here who's likely to drop down to red hearts or might need a rest with the quick backups we do have here currently. So what we're going to do is bring on Thomas Williams for Jem Hewlett. We'll bring on here Vokins as well for Sweeney at left back. Who else might need a rest? Let's bring on here for Eddie and Manning, Charlie Pavey. And also Lewis Jones can be quite injury prone, albeit our options on the bench. I think Esther Muir also comes in this one on a heavy workload. Maybe what we do here is Zayn Mohammed coming on here for Lewis Jones. Caden Kelly can go to left winger, and we'll try to Werner in central midfield, because of course a bit weak currently down that left-hand side up front. Might be a good idea to give Lewis Jones a rest while we can. So a couple of changes here late on to make sure these guys who come off the bench do get a rating. Let's just hope it doesn't backfire here as we make our way to the final 10 minutes. Time for us now to start doing just a little bit of time wasting. Make sure here that we hold on to our 2-goal lead and keep ourselves firmly in that chasing pack for one of those automatic promotion spots, because that would be a brilliant first season up in League 2 to be fair. No matter what we do now, we've already had quite a good season. We make our way to the final 5 minutes. Time for us now time waste even more and not pass into space. Hopefully that does mean we keep hold of the ball, albeit a late corner here for Crawley Town. We kind of deal with the danger there, but we don't do it very well. And Mark Watkinson with a screamer there to pick up his first goal of the season. That's oh so typical. FM off the big now, we might just pull back some players here to make sure they're a bit more defensive than they otherwise would have been. Unfortunately, both our wingers today can't go back and play defensive like I would like them to do when we've got a lead. So what we're going to do here is just chuck the fullbacks on defend and also a couple more midfielders onto some more defensive roles. Let's just hope that that makes sure here that Crawley don't find a way to equalise that shot. Might have taken a deflection there inside the box, but still good effort from Watkinson to grab a goal back. We'll praise the guys even though they are starting to show some signs of bottling, but thankfully a dominant display, and this time we pick up all 3 points. A lot better there than what we did against Bristol Rovers. To be fair, that wasn't actually too bad with the team we put out for that game, but still, good performances today. Feels a bit harsh. We've only got 3 points out of them. Probably deserved a draw in that Bristol game, but we bounce back there and finally get a W over Crawley Town this season. It doesn't change much in terms of the point situation. 1 point off them as they sit in third, but now it's very tight between second and eighth there on the table. Lots of teams still in with a chance of getting into the playoffs as well as one of those automatic promotion spots. So a couple of pretty good performances there during the course of today's episode. We probably should have got something out of that Bristol Rovers game. Unfortunately, gave away a penalty, which did prove costly, but then bounced back with a 2-1 win over Crawley Town. Not doing too badly here with this Buxton team, especially off the back of making sure that we stop crosses. Does feel now that we can see a few less goals in the air, and it does mean we've dropped down to 6. We slide down one spot during the course of today's episode. Still only 1 point off Crawley Town. Our goal differential could be an issue if we do end up joining with another team there on points who could be in that third spot, because that might hurt us there. Our goal differential not as good as it has been the last couple of seasons here at Buxton, but certainly we're looking good for a playoff spot, considering we are 6 points clear of Bristol Rovers and we've got a game in hand. So I'd like to think at the very least we should be taking part in the playoffs this season, but we're certainly not out of the hunt either for one of those automatic promotion spots, especially because soon enough we should get Zay Williams and Pinion all back from injury, and Zay and Williams in particular could be some big difference makers late on in this season. Some regular first team players coming back there from some minor injuries, but that will do it for today's episode. Played quite well, but unfortunately only picked up that one win. If you enjoyed that one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Now, what we'll come back for in tomorrow's episode probably depends on how things are looking. If we do drop points here against Mansfield, really should not be doing that. The 21st, and we're at home, so that's a game I'm expecting to win. Forest Green, I'd also expect us to win, even though it's away from home. So I'm kind of thinking those next two games should be bankers for at least 4 or so points. Fleetwood Town might be trickier. It is at home, but they sit 5th. That definitely looks our toughest test in the run home that we do have in these final 8 or so games. Then Gillingham and Hartley pull away from home, but they're not doing too well. Leyton Orient and Northampton just before the season ends in April, they could be interesting. Shrewsbury Town also not doing too badly in our final game, so we might be coming back depending on how things go. It could be for Fleetwood Town if that game looks like it could be quite important. Otherwise, we might skip forward and play those last couple of games of the season if it looks like we're going to keep ourselves in a pretty similar position to what we are now going into those final couple of games of the season, looking pretty safe for a playoff spot, but could maybe get the automatic promotion. It's quite tight up there, so we'll see what the situation is and what we come back for, or we get stuck into the playoffs here in our first season up in League 2. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.